Hey, it's time for another reading time, and from Hermes and the Dragon. And I'm going to start with chapter 2, called The Wizard. It had been 3 days since King Pen exiled Hermes. After 2 days of walking and riding in the elaborate carriage, Hermes reached the edge of the kingdom where guards who escorted him gave him additional food and sent him on his way, ordering him never to return. Hermes slowly continued to walk down the road away from the kingdom, wondering where he would go and what he would do. He wished he would have just died in the fire. Dying would have been better than the despicable life he lived with a grotesque body. How would he ever have friends? No one could stand looking at him. Sure, he was cruel to people, but they deserved it for mistreating him. They actually deserved more than he did, Hermes justified. Why do the people think I bring them bad luck? How could I bring them bad luck? I'm just an ordinary boy with a severely scarred face and body. I will show them. I will survive just to show everyone that I can survive on my own. I don't need anyone anymore. Someday I will go back home and they will all feel sorry for me and feel bad for what they did to me, especially the king. I will make everyone pay. Hermes lowered his hood as he slowly walked down the road alone. His shoulder length, dark brown, almost auburn colored hair blew to the side in the slight breeze. He unexpectedly discovered he was not alone and quickly put on his hood to help cover a part of his face. A man dressed in a long sapphire colored robe with intricate red and gold embroidery along the front openings suddenly appeared by his side. He wore a matching sapphire covering over his head. His long dark hair flowed down his back, and a long pointed brown beard with a mustache that was almost as long as his beard flowed down the front of his robe. He was taller than most of the men in his village, so Hermes had to look up to see his face. A deep brown leather satchel with a long strap crossed over his left shoulder and hung down at his right side. Despite the long beard, the man looked younger than his father, and Hermes wondered who he was and if he was safe. Hello, young friend. What's your name? Asked the man. Hanging his head in front of him, Hermes reluctantly and quietly answered, Scarface. Really now, the man commented, I'm guessing you have another name, maybe one given to you by your parents. Everyone calls me Scarface. Besides, it really doesn't matter what my name is now, does it? I'm going away, never to return, murmured Hermes. Where are you going, Hermes? Asked the man. Hermes stared at him in surprise. How did you know my name? Who are you? And if you knew my name, why did you ask me what my name was? I'm Jova, and I'm a wizard. I have some gifts for you, as well as some instructions for you. With doubt in his eyes, Hermes stopped and stared at Jova. You, a wizard? You look too young to be a wizard. I thought wizards were old and gray. Jova laughed and said, Well, to get old, they had to have been young once. Skeptical, Hermes looked at the satchel. What gift? I'll show you in a bit. Where are you going? Jova asked. Looking down at the ground, Hermes answered, I don't know, and I really don't care. Who are you? I know your name, but who are you really, and what do you have for me? Jova moved in front of Hermes, turned to face him, causing Hermes to almost run into him. Hey, exclaimed Hermes, why did you do that? Smiling, Jova answered, I want you to stop and look at me for a moment. You are right. I do know who you are, where you're from, and why you are walking on this road looking completely dejected and alone. Yeah, right, Hermes mumbled. I know about the house fire and why you were cast out of the village. In fact, I also know more about you than you know about yourself and know you are worth far more than you realize. I don't believe you. I'm worthless. I bring bad luck to entire villages. I'm hideous to look at, and I'll never have any friends. I'm not here to let you berate yourself. As I stated earlier, I have some gifts for you. Jova reached into the bag hanging at his side and pulled out a blue sapphire-colored egg about the size of his hand. The intense, striking color of the egg matched Jova's robe. Jova put the egg into Hermes' outstretched hand and said, You are now the keeper of the egg. This egg needs love and kindness in order to fulfill its purpose. Hermes glanced at the egg and suddenly marveled at its beauty. He then looked back at Jova and attempted to give the egg back. I don't want the egg. You can have it. Unfortunately, I can't take it back. It's yours to keep, to care for, to love, and show kindness. He pulled out another satchel out of his bag, put the egg in it, and draped it around Hermes' shoulders. That is all for right now.